Hi, hello dear students, how are you? This is Miss Salwa with you again, and we are still in Unit 6, and we're still with quantifiers, and this is video number 6. Today we're going to continue the quantifiers, and we're going to do the worksheet page 19 and page 20. So last time we were talking about the comparative and the superlative, comparative and superlative, and we said that if we want to compare between two things or two people, we add er to the adjective and then we follow it by than. And if we have here, and if we want to compare between more than two, three, and above, we use the superlative form, which is the and est with the adjective. And if we have the negative isn't, for example, or doesn't or don't, we use as. Also, if we have equality, also we use as. Like we said, Aya is as young as Dalal. And we said that we can compare using adjectives like young, like old, or we can use also comparative with adverb, like the word fluently here. Okay, and we said that if the adjective is too long and we want to compare between two things, then we use more. Okay, and we put the adjective followed by than. And if the adjective is too long and we want to use the superlative, we put the and we put most and then we put the adjective. So most instead of the est, and more is instead of the er with the adjective. Today I'm going also to draw your attention to a different kind of comparison here. We have here 4 sentences. The first sentence is, the faster you drive, the earlier you arrive to work. Usually we add er followed by than, and we use that with the superlative, but here the story is different. So if we have a sentence consists of 2 parts, the first part is the followed by er. The second part also should be the and er. يعني the faster you drive, يعني كل ما سقت أسرع, the earlier you arrive to work, كل ما وصلت لعملك أبكر. Another example, the harder she studies, the better marks she gets. كل ما درست بجد أكتر, كل ما حصلت علامات أكتر. Again, here we have er, and here also we have the second part, we have the and er. Number 3, the more we exercise, the healthier we become. Also, the more here instead of er. So the more we exercise, the healthier with er we become. Number 4, the less fat you eat. So of course we can compare with either more or with less. Positively or negatively. The less fat you eat, the more weight you lose. Okay, so this is another kind of comparison. Now let's move to page 19 in the worksheet. They say here, complete the following sentences using one of the phrases from the box. We have here the most, the least, as, less than, and more than. Tom is not Peter. Since we have here negative, احنا قلنا دائما لما نشوف كلمة is not أو does not أو don't, when we have negative we directly use as. Okay, so is not as, we have here strong as Peter. So Tom is not as strong as Peter. Type, a bicycle is a car. We have here 2 items, 2 things, bicycle and we have car. إذن we have to use the comparative form اللي هو er. طيب وحاطط لي هون expensive. هل البايسيكل expensive يعني غالي الثمن؟ هل البايسيكل more expensive or less expensive؟ البايسيكل طبعا is cheaper يعني هو أرخص. إذن معناته هو less expensive, right? So a bicycle is less expensive, يعني أقل تكلفة, أقل غلاء than a car. إحنا ممكن نستخدم مثل هون less في حالة إحنا we are talking negatively, and we can use more in case we are talking positively. إحنا هون لازم نستخدم negative لأنه البايسيكل is less expensive, is cheaper. طيب, the film we saw last night was wonderful. It was fill of all. أنا عندي هون الkeyword of all. إذن هون I'm comparing between more than 2. يعني I have to use the superlative. طيب superlative يعني أحط the و est مع الادجective. Interesting. I have here a long adjective which consists of 4 syllables. ما بقدر اقول interestingest، فبقول هون the most interesting film of all I have seen this month. طيب, she swims a fish. I'm comparing her swimming. I'm comparing the girl swimming with a fish. So because here I'm describing the adjective, I'm describing the verb here. This is the verb. I have to use an adverb. إذن بقول she swims as excellently as a fish. يعني أكيد مش هتكون تسبح أحسن من السمكة، فبقول والله ما شاء الله عليها سبيحة مثل السمكة. So here I have equality, so I used as. طيب, Tamara got 92% in her final exams, whereas Rawan got 60%. So who is cleverer? طبعا أكيد Tamara is cleverer. هي اللي أشطر Tamara because she got 92. طب إذا Tamara is Rawan, and I have here intelligent. I'm comparing between two people, Tamara and Rawan. إذا I have to use the comparative form, and since Tamara is clever, إذا the all is more intelligent than Rawan. طبعا I cannot add er to the word intelligent because it's too lengthy, it's long, it's a long adjective. So I put here more, and more, as we said, this is instead of the er with the adjective. More intelligent than. طيب, now let's move to number 6. My new house is the biggest house I have ever lived in. يعني هو أكبر بيت أنا عشت فيه، وكمان هو also. إذا هون أنا في عندي زي عطف، بدي أعطف est وكمان est على the second part of the sentence, and also the most expensive. طبعا أنا هون I have to use the superlative because we have expensive, a long adjective. I cannot add est, so I put most and most here instead of est. I cannot say expensivest, right? It's difficult for pronunciation, but the most expensive. طيب, people in Europe do not eat rice people do in Asia. هلا هون I have negative, so directly, because I have a negative, directly use as. إذا بقول هون as much rice as people do in Asia. طيب, Adam paints his brother who prefers playing football. I'm comparing between two people, between Adam and his brother. His brother, he prefers and he likes to play football. Which one of these two that paints more skillfully? أكيد إنه Adam. So Adam paints more. Why did we add here more? Because skillfully is a long adjective. I cannot say skillfulier. إذن more skillfully than his brother who prefers playing football. The harder he works, like the sentences we did now at the beginning of the video. The harder he works, we have the followed by er. The second part also should be the and er. Isn't the harder he works, I cannot say successfuler. The more successful, I have to add er because it is a long adjective. I put more. The more successful he becomes. طيب, the injury اللي هو الجرح طبعا looks badly before, so within a few days he will leave the hospital. بما انه هو رح يترك الهوسبيتال within a few days, معناته اكيد انه الجرح اقل سوءا. إذن the injury looks less badly than. I'm comparing between now and before, between two situations. So I have to use the comparative, and because I'm comparing in a negative form, so I say less badly than before. So within a few days he will leave hospital. بما إنه هو أقل سوءا إذا he will leave hospital. He will leave the hospital. Now let's move please to let's now move to the next page. Let's move to page 20. Okay, so this is page 20 here, as you can see. And in page 20 بقول لي rewrite the following sentences. Okay, and Nabil is not as smart as Khalid. Nabil is not as smart as Khalid. يعني نبيل مش شاطر مثل خالد. يعني خالد is of course what? Smarter than who? Than Nabil. Yeah, for sure. than نبيل. طيب اوكي مس احنا بنحل هاي الجمل بالمنطق بالcommon sense بالmeaning. You have to read the sentence thoroughly and you have to understand the meaning and then you can do it. You can answer it very easily. طيب business studies is the most popular subject. إذا business studies اللي دراسات اللي إدارة الأعمال is the most popular هي أكثر المواد إقبالا وشيوعا بين الطلبة. طيب أي مادة أخرى بدها تكون is not as popular as business studies. Okay, so physics is not as popular as business studies. أو ممكن نقول business is less popular. ممكن نقول كمان is less popular than business studies. So both are acceptable. نفس المعنى. اوكي لما بقول الفيزياء مش شائعة زي البزنس أو الفيزياء أقل شيوعا وإقبالا من البزنس studies. It's the same. So engineering is more popular than law. Engineering is more popular than law. إذا law هلا هون I would like to draw attention to something here. I have a few words. Early, the opposite of earlier is later. The opposite of longer is shorter. The opposite of more is less. The opposite of most is least. عشان نعرفهم هدول before we do the sentences. بما إنه engineering is more popular than law إذا law is معناته what is the opposite of more is less popular than engineering. Okay. أو بنقول law is not as popular as engineering. Is not as popular as engineering. طيب neither cars nor ships are as fast as planes. Here I'm comparing between three things: cars وships and planes. يعني لا السيارات ولا السفن سريعة مثل الطائرات. إذا معناته planes إيش مالهم؟ Here I should use the superlative because I'm comparing between more than three things. Okay, then I have to use the super. So planes are the fastest of all. يعني some students بيقولوا طب ما بس نقول يا miss planes are not مثلا planes are faster than cars and ships. Yes, you can say it, but because we have here three things, why don't you use a superlative form? It will be easier and clearer. So planes are the fastest of all. Japanese children leave school 3 years earlier than Turkish children. يعني الأطفال اليابانيين بيخلصوا المدرسة والتعليم الأساسي 3 سنوات أبكر من طلاب أو الchildren طلاب اللي هم أو الأطفال الأتراك. طيب هلا احنا عنا هون the word 3 years earlier. What's the opposite of earlier? عندي later. يعني الأتراك بيخلصوا المدرسة بعد 3 سنوات من اليابانيين. يعني بالنسبة إذا بيخلصوا على الصف التاسع الأتراك بيخلصوا على الصف 12 اللي هو التعليم الأساسي عندهم. So Turkish children إذا leave school Okay, 3 years عكس كلمة earlier later نفس الجملة نفس الجملة but we change it from earlier into later the opposite than اللي هم Japanese children. Okay, now let's go to number 6. Students don't like doing math as much as art and music. Okay, يعني ال students don't like doing math ما بيحبوا يدرسوا الطلاب الرياضيات مثل ما بيحبوا يدرسوا الارت الفنون والموسيقى. إذا students doing يعني they like to study, they like doing art and music more than what? More than math. More than math. Okay, more than math. Now let's move to number 7. Mission Impossible and The Unbroken are very interesting films. Mission Impossible and The Unbroken are very interesting films. But the Titanic, here I'm comparing between more than 2. Mission Impossible number 1, The Unbroken number 2, and the Titanic number 3. Then I have to use what? I have to use the superlative. Is. So the Titanic is the most interesting film or the most interesting of all. Okay, that's all for video 6. Thank you very much. Until we meet in the next video, and bye-bye.